Hello, I am Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm playing through Scarlet Descendant Mythical Plus to farm for my Scarlet system, as well as tasty monster points while there is 10 times monster points selling for Descend boss drops. So I've played through this a lot, and I am over halfway done my Scarlet system, so I'm quite happy with my progress, and I've gotten a relatively good idea of how to play this dungeon relatively consistently. So on the first floor, I actually have Fantastic enter in order to have Mantastic sweep the first floor, because I want to take advantage of Fantastic's two Hermes, however you want to say it, Devil Killer Awakenings, because those deal 3 times damage to every single floor in this dungeon. So I made a little mistake on the first floor, and I have to pass my turn because I want to have Mantastic sweep the floor, because the second floor has a green devil who has a lot of health, and it can be challenging to deal with otherwise. So when you play co-op, you actually have 2 pass turns, 1 for each player, and the reason why this is important is because you can coordinate someone who has specific actives for certain mechanics. So another thing to keep in mind when playing co-op is your leader's active skill recharges twice as fast as the subs, because every turn reduces their cooldown, whereas subs only have their cooldown reduced when it is your turn. So it's important to try and pick leaders who have powerful actives, because that way you can use them more often. So in the case of Blue Sonya teams, it's a very powerful active, and it makes my life a lot easier. So as you saw from that, I'm trying to match horizontal blue rows, and the more you match, obviously, the more damage you deal. So when you arrange the board in kind of a cascading pattern like that, you increase your chances of skyfalls or cascades occurring. This can increase your damage significantly if done properly. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of just memorizing the pattern, to be honest. So on the third floor, I try to avoid the green orb skyfall debuff because it doesn't help me. So to do so, I try and whittle her down to about 60% or so using Fantastic to burst because of Devil Killer Awakenings, as well as because he does not have a sub who contributes nothing except for his active, in this case Bane for Mantastic. So I usually just try and set up the board nicely for Fantastic on this floor. So now that the boss is at an ideal health, I can pop my Hermes and just manufacture blue rows and sweep the floor. And I have to make sure I have at least 7,800 health or so to survive the preemptive on the subsequent floor. Now, because I have Bane to deal with the pre-draws and he does true damage, I'm not actually able to match orbs while I kill them off, and which can be a problem if I'm not full health, because my team has to be full health to survive Divine Queen Hera's preemptive attack. So all I do on this floor is I use Mantastic to heal up, and I have Ryun and Andromeda in case I'm missing hard orbs. Now that I'm full health, I'll use Fantastic's second Hermes to generate at least 1 blue row to burst down the Kraken. So now that I've swept this floor, I only match 1 row. It's good enough. It's enough to sweep the floor. I enter the pre-draw floor with Mantastic, who has the true damage, so I save a skip turn this way. So you can use the third floor to kind of arrange who enters this floor accordingly. So now that I'm full health, I can survive Divine Queen Hera's attack just barely. Now my I has full rainbow resist, so it only has 1% resist, so I actually had to calculate and feed enough health pluses to survive preemptives. And one way to calculate in a safe environment is play just Legend Plus, where it does less damage and you can kind of judge what level your monsters end up at when you arrive at this floor. Now, I want to use Fantastic again to burst down every floor if possible, because they do significantly more damage. So I'm using my second blue Sonia active, and I need to manufacture Rose to burst her down. So on this board here I have 16 blue orbs, and it's going to be arranged in a cascading pattern to make 2 rows and multiple combos. Again, just memorizing the pattern and being able to spot it quickly, and it looks much prettier. So now that I've safely swept this floor, I enter Scarlet in her first form. Now Scarlet in her first form is actually very generous because for the first 2 turns you can't kill her, but for the first turn she doesn't even hurt you. She just says let's go, because she wants to get the party started, obviously. So all I do is heal up and conserve heart orbs so I can save them up. Now if you had encountered the red Hera on the 6th floor, you'd actually have jammers falling down and she'd be hitting you for a much higher amount of damage. Whereas now she's hitting hard but not as dangerous. So again, conserving heart orbs at the bottom and just biding my time. Now, depending on if Mantastic has their past turn, I will use Fantastic to try and burst her down. Because if I can pass my turn, I would rather try and burst her down with Fantastic because it's safer. If I didn't have a skip turn, I would use all my actives on Mantastic and burst her down that way. I just like using Fantastic because it's safer because of the more damage output he has. So the key with playing multiplayer is obviously communication, and when I play with myself so much, I get sometimes a little lost of whose turn it is, who has what actives up, because you tend to memorize what you have at your own disposal, whereas for myself I kind of get a little jumbled up sometimes. So obviously make sure you communicate with your partner. There are many Discord servers or other chat apps, programs, features that are all over the Facebook groups that you can use to help find a partner and coordinate. Just make sure you don't Alt-Tab out of pad, because that will cause you to disconnect, and that can be frustrating because I've gotten to the boss and disconnected and both accounts lost when it should have been an easy win. So now that I enter Scarlet in her final form, I am going to pop Mantastic's I to get the double water damage, and then just simply pass my turn back to Fantastic to finish the job. Now on the final floor you have to move quicker because you have 1 less second to manipulate the orbs, and that can be problematic for a row-based team, so you have to plan your move very carefully. So I'll pop Mori Mori, and then Blue Odin, and match like my life depended on it, which it actually does. So I only have 13 blue orbs. I need to make sure I match beautiful combos and cascading rows. Now that pattern actually doesn't generate an extra combo, it just gives me a significantly higher chance of skyfalls occurring, because when the rows cascade down, it gives you a higher chance of matching additional combos. Thank you for watching my Mythical plus Scarlet clear, and hopefully this video is informative of how to farm monster points in a Scarlet system quite efficiently. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and check out my blog, and happy puzzling!